What is up, everybody? Ace here, and I am back playing some Minecraft, except where are we? It may look a teensy bit familiar, because, well, according to the title, you might be able to figure it out. We are doing a UHC Season 16 recap, and we are none other, is that the right phrase? Well, we are at the spawn point of the UHC world. This is actually a copy of the world itself that Lemons has graciously donated. And yeah, I'm just going to go through the recap kind of bit by bit. Hopefully I can figure out everywhere I've been by memory, but it's not entirely important, I guess. So, but yeah, we spawned right around this area. We were doing separated teams of 4. Everybody's already on a team, but their teammates are somewhere else, so you start by yourself. We had to expand the world to about 3,000 by 3,000 to fit everybody, which created a little bit of lag in the beginning, which is fine. Yeah, I started right around this area, a little closer to over there, and pretty good starting point. Lots of trees, plenty of opportunity for apples. Apparently, I don't know if the mob spawning is exact, but I do not remember seeing cows at all. I remember seeing a bunch of chickens. I think that's something everybody got to see. There are some wolves here. I think over that way. But, yeah, pretty good spawn point. And, made my way over here, and I already carved this out. This is pre-UHC generation, but I did make this a little staircase down. Nick's just gonna hate the lack of overhead space here, but yeah, I mined down to about this point, heard some noises, and saw that there was a cave. I think I actually broke in probably more this way, but it turns out this little cave is not much of anything. It's just, it ends on both sides. This is a, yeah, this is a no block. But yeah, so I saw that. I actually heard a bunch of mobs in it, so I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go down there. I'm going to go down this way. And this might not be exact either. It might be off by a block or two. But, is that the cave itself? Yeah, I think so. However, this is how close I was to getting diamonds, apparently. There are 4 diamonds just right here. Assuming that I dug down directly down the staircase, I could have hit this. Now, I did download an X-ray resource pack, and it's going to lag the game for a moment, but I want to see if something is true here. I downloaded the world seed before downloading the world itself, and noticed something rather interesting, and there it is. There's a mine shaft not too far away. So it turns out, if I had continued to dig down, see, there's more of it, from where I was, right here, or even if I followed it that way and dug down, I would have hit this mine shaft, and I explored it a little bit. There's not too many good stuff in there, but there's a lot of gold, and who knows, I might have been a little bit luckier with stuff. But, no, I ended up going this way. Alright, we're going to put it back. It was pretty interesting seeing the things that you might have missed. And, yeah, things that you could have seen. I will say, I am recording this after my death, so we'll talk about that later on. But it looks like the gold that's generated in here is pretty much exactly the same. I don't think Lemons messed with anything. But there was talk about a ton of gold that everybody found. And I actually said, I think I said it in the pregame show, or at some point, I felt like I said it, that it seemed like with separated teams that there was a possibility that we might have a lot of loaded teams, and I definitely was not wrong. See, I blocked this off. I want to see if it goes anywhere. Oh, it goes into the mine shaft that I completely missed. So, yeah, it looks like I did everything in my power to not to not go into this mine shaft. Wow. Look at all this gold, too. That's crazy. Oh, here's a chest. And there's a golden apple right there. To think. I could have been utilizing all of this. Let's check out this chest and then we'll go back. Yeah, this... Wow. Couple diamonds. That's weird. That's crazy. I missed all this. And I was like, I don't feel like going that way. I'm just gonna focus on getting diamonds. I could have been a lot more loaded had I just gone a little bit further by the looks of it. That's sad. Oh. And breaking too. It looks like there's some decent stuff. Some people got some really good enchants. Okay, we really need to go back before I get lost. Huh. Man, I missed all this, huh? Yep. So yeah, caving phase, despite missing all of this apparently, it actually went pretty well. Yeah, I found all my gold and diamonds and everything. Yeah, nobody had trouble. Well, no, Shawson's team kind of had a bit of trouble with gold, apparently. Yeah, I just blocked this off. Wow. But, yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good start, pretty good way of doing things. I handled my, taking damage, and took care of that pretty well. Oh yeah, I was hearing a spider here, and I bet you it's ultimately probably, yeah, it's probably hearing the mine shaft in this area, because I was hearing a spider and really looking for him. But let's see what else was going on. We had our code words. Something interesting to note was yeah, those code words. With the other teams, at first I thought that our team, the red team, which was myself, Aces, Alpha, and Mukla, I thought we were the only ones that were going to wait until partway through the season to meet up. And it turns out the yellow team was doing the exact same thing, so it was kind of cool to see that. Mostly everybody else ended up meeting up relatively quickly. So yeah, I went this way. I blocked this off, but I eventually came back around to it. Went over here, did all this. Yeah, explored all the way around, and eventually ended up right back here, which is pretty much back where we started. And then, yeah, then I started just digging up this way, I think. So we're just gonna punch our way back up to the surface. But yeah, what a shame. Missed a mine shaft. Yeah, dug up into the ocean. Not too far from where we started. So yeah, this was about episode 4 or 5. I started going this way, realized I went the wrong way. And so I decided to turn back and explore through the night, and we're going to see if we can, we're not going to follow the exact path, obviously, but yeah, I did a lot of adventuring throughout the night. I think I boated a couple times. Yeah, I took a boat through here, grabbed those reeds, I remember that, continued on this way, so completely past that roof forest, and then here, I boated into the city and realized that there were traces of activity here, just some blocks around the area. I didn't explore it because I was by myself, and when I saw those blocks, I got a little bit spooked. I was like, I don't think it would be a good idea to check this out. But the city itself is really cool. I was someone who was kind of unsure about the city. I was afraid that was going to be... Are these all unpopulated? was afraid that it was going to be, like, not good. I was afraid that it was going to make the game... I was afraid it was going to mess with the game too much. Okay, some of these are populated. But, turns out it was actually a good centerpiece for all the combat that we eventually get into. And see, here's a little bit more of the city. And we'll get back to this later. I went past it this way on my way to meeting up with my team, which was at Vatican, our code word, which was 500, negative 500. So, cut through all this. I don't remember the swamp much, but cut all the way through to about here. Let's see if I can find the exact spot. Yeah, it's right around this area by the looks of it. Yeah, right here. Because they blocked this off, which was apparently a nice little cave. Found Zalpha digging around underground here. And I was like up over here somewhere trying to get their attention, like, hey, here I am, and they just went running off to gather apples. But eventually caught up with them, and we were united. And yeah, we gathered all our stuff. We made our way over to this little island here, set up a base, did our enchanting. Apparently I left like a stack and a half of iron and like a projectile protection 1 chest plate that the yellow team eventually found. And so, you know, a little gift, being nice. And then we made our way back to the city. And this is where things started picking up. So the majority of the season, only Abel died. He was on Shawson's team with Shawson and Smith J. But after that, everybody else was doing really well. And so, yeah, there was not a lot going on for the majority of the season. But that turned out to be a pretty good thing once the end happened. I think we actually cut a little bit more through this way, yeah. Because then we ended up in the city. And this is episode 6 by this point. See what we got here. You know, just some books, things. We hold up here in the church, and yeah, just shooting at some zombies, and somehow managed to shoot my little toe, and ended up here. And it was season 15 all over again, with baby zombies. And so, did a couple laps around before I could be rescued. Took some damage. Very unnecessary damage. But next morning we went into the city. At this time, I was the only one that had bows, but by the time we got to the city itself, everybody had enough stuff for a bow. And we took over this building. Let's see, there are a couple chests here. I want to see what was left in them. Nothing, so that was true. This one has nothing. So, but there's some chests in here, some cobwebs. There's some stuff. But yeah, we made our base up here. We eventually took over this building and that building. But we did see Yellow Team at one point. I think they were on this one. Possibly. They were on one of these. Yeah, I think it was this building. And they saw us way before we saw them, but we were able to drive them out to the city, or out of the city, and they made a base right here. Now this is where things got pretty crazy, and I was actually going to get a an overviewer version of this, but since we got the world itself, it makes things a lot more interesting. So we were mostly on that building. Yellow Team was here, and then let's see if I can figure all this out just by looking around here. Green Team was somewhere around here. gold team was in a hole in the ground, like right in this area. See if I can find it. Was it this one? No, that's a water pocket. They were really close. It might have been more this way. Let's see. See if I can find the area. I can't seem... They popped right out of a cave in this area. It might have been right around here somewhere. But yeah, they popped out. No, it's a little too far away. They were close. Maybe it was over here. Might have been... I don't know. It was close. It was close enough to where they could see the yellow team. If I can remember from what I was watching, it was right around in this area. But yeah, they were around here, and green team was like a little bit over that way, and then back here. Purple and blue team got into combat around somewhere in this area. Let's see if I can find it. Was it there? No, that was... It was a little bit more of a shallow valley, I think. No, it was right there, I believe. Yeah, it was right in this area, I think. Yep, because Mixon was right here. Getting shot at by everybody. But yeah, blue team and purple team ended up fighting here, back and forth. Cielo managed to escape. I think he ended up digging underground around this area, like right in there. So he must have like ran down and then dug in here. And then purple team knew that he was in the area but couldn't seem to find him and made their way around this way. Cielo ended up coming out and going about that way. The crazy thing about this is... at one point in time, let's see, purple team was like here, around here. Cielo was probably, you know, back there somewhere, and, you know, yellow's here, we're there, and meantime there's a battle going on like right here in this little area of the forest. Somewhere in this area there's combat going on, and right on either side of them is, you know, Cielo, purple team, there's us, there's yellow. So, yeah, of course, the rest of blue died back there. But it's crazy to think that, you know, there's a big, huge melee brewing in this area, and right in this little pocket is an isolated event that we could have seen, or maybe yellow team could have seen, but from our point of view, it could have been like way somewhere else. Of course, the world border was moving in, and boy, that world border moved in pretty fast, which I kind of expected, because starting at 3,000, moving in about at the same period of time that it would have if it were 2,000, and moving all the way down to 100 by 100. Definitely made it move a little bit faster than what we expected, I think, which created some interesting moments. There were a number of teams that got caught by the world border while underground, and definitely affected how combat happened here in the city. Was that the hole that they came out of? That gold team came out of? You know what? I think it is. Yeah, that makes sense. This is probably where gold team was then. Okay. There's some gold. I'm not going to try to find the... Oh, here it is. Never mind. Is this the notch apple? No, this is a regular apple. I know they found like 2 spawners, and one of them had a notch apple in it. And that's crazy. 2 seasons in a row with a notch apple. Whoa. So, alright, let's get back up here. Ooh. But yeah, gold team found a notch apple, and so far, every team that's found a notch apple has won. It seems like something that should be a given, but it's still possible that you could lose, and we'll mention that in a minute. So yeah, purple team made their way over here, and from our point of view, it looked like we actually convinced them to go fight the yellow team, but it looks like they were already kind of making their way this way anyways. Maybe we convinced them a little bit, but either way, they made their way around this way. Cielo was over here. Orange team had dug underground somewhere over there. So they ended up digging up like back this way. And surprised the yellow team from here. Got into combat. We're watching from like these buildings, from this one and this one. Turns out that the purple team, we saw some arrows flying over like that way, near that building. Turns out it's just the purple team shooting way over yellow's heads. So yellow team attempts to escape down in here. Joda, Weather, and Lemons managed to escape that way. Nixer gets caught by Jad, who kind of did a little flank this way, and got pinged and killed. Boo went across this bridge that connected this area to join him, but here comes Cielo and shot her right in the back of the head. And by that time, yellow team escaped out here, went this way and off that way. Us, the red team, moved in and started swarming the base. Got a few shots on Jad. Then Aces swooped in, knocked him out of my grasp right here. I could have maybe gotten a kill at this point. I moved in, got out my sword ready, and swung, but then Aces with his knockback 2 sword sent him halfway across the map, and chased him down to here and shot him in the river. Meanwhile, Killer's, trying to avenge him. He shot me a couple times over here. Made his way down, shot at Aces. Aces escaped by boat over here and made his way back. Killer managed to escape that way. Yellow team, I don't know where Weather and Lemons went. I think they probably wouldn't dug in that way. But Joda ended up going around a little further and got caught by the border over here. Cielo, who was shooting at us from the other mountain over here, ended up getting caught by the border as well, back here. So yeah, we regrouped and started making our way back into the city, to this building. Meanwhile, here comes Gold Team, making their way in, and if I can remember correctly, Dan went directly this way, as Canuck went up into here. Cookie was mostly around this area. Mary went this way with his notch apple. Aces, completely jumped him. I got a couple shots in on him, which I guess counts as official combat against Mary, which is kind of a rare thing, I guess, for me, considering how long we've been playing UHCs. We've never really gotten to meaningful combat, unless you count a little bit of Season 11. We never really... I guess our teams got in combat with each other, but I never actually got to shoot him, deal any damage. Neither did he to me. But I got a couple shots in on him here. It was kind of funny, because he used the notch apple here, got bombarded by arrows and creepers and stuff, and actually had to escape around this way. And the world border forced all the mobs to spawn here at night in the rain. He eventually, I think, went into this building and holed himself up to regroup. Meanwhile, the rest of us are over here. I got shot down to, this platform as Mary was running by. I guess I could have shot at him a little bit, but I was down to 2 hearts. So I was like, if I don't shoot him, he won't kill me. So I just waited here, got myself back up to here. We set up our little defenses in this area. I was getting shot left and right. Canuck was here, shooting through the window. Dan and Cookie were kind of over here. So there was a lot of chaos, and the border was moving in ever closer, to the point where I got a golden apple from Muck, and before I ate it, he mentioned the world border was right here. I was like, everybody kind of went into panic rush mode. I should have eaten my apple because I made a little platform here to get into the building, and a creeper dropped in and blew up the platform. Both Asus and I fell, but I was the one that died. On the bright side, Asus got the golden apple and managed to escape into the building to end off that episode. At the very end of that episode, wow, what's going on here? I did not do this. Meanwhile, Zalpha is, I think, somewhere here. Muck ended up running around to, like, over here. And, you know, orange team is, or gold team's here, with Mary back there. Killer and Lemons and Weather are underground somewhere. And, so we move on to episode 9, the final episode. I haven't watched this one yet, but considering I am dead by this point, it's kind of a little bit more straightforward. I'll watch back the footage, and I'll probably have something wrong by this point. But yeah, so Gold Team basically went around and started picking people off. They found Muckluck somewhere down here. Look, there's a brewing stand in there. They found Weather and Lemons. Was it in this building? It was in one of these buildings. Weather and Lemons were, I guess, decided that they were going to attack and just got destroyed by the Gold Team. And then the real fun begins. So, Gold Team was here, I believe, and Killer was here. And on the one hand, it's 1-on-4, so you're thinking, you know, Killer might not win this one. But then he, like, immediately, like, picks off Dan with, like, one shot, and it's like, oh, well, here we go. Another Killer win. It's probably going to happen. And so, these two start having, like, a tower wars, start building ever higher. Every time Killer would try to build higher, Canuck and them would build a little bit higher. And then every time this team, the Gold Team, would shoot Killer, he would eat another apple, and then another apple, and then another apple, and then another apple. These guys had all this gold, but no apples. So they were, you know, trying to hang in there. Cookie got shot at one point and died. And then Killer tried to bridge his way across and maybe get an anvil kill, I guess. I think you mentioned that. And from my point of view, it looked like he, like, gave up and jumped off to his death. Like, he was tired of this long drawn out Sky Wars kind of thing. But apparently he got shot down and died. And so, big, huge congratulations to Killer, Mary, Cookie, and Dan, or Oscillate. Canuck, Mary, Cookie, and Dan. Canuck and Mary and Cookie each got their first ever UHC win. Big deal for all of them. Dan getting his second. Fun fact, Dan is the only person to get 2 UHC wins with a notch apple, you know, on their team. So, hey. So yeah, big deal for, like, Mary, who is, you know, he's been right there at the end for nearly every UHC that he's been in. Matter of fact, there's a string of UHCs from, like, season 3 to season 10 where he was either second or third. Season 3 he was third, season 4 he was second, season 5 he was third, yeah, season 6 he was second, season 7 he was third, season 8 he didn't play, season 9 he was second, and season 10 he was second, and season 11 is technically a not first. so yeah, he was on the cusp of winning for so many seasons. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And Canuck, who's been on, you know, a number of good teams before, like, the combat update, and, in like every season except for one. I think it was 13, I want to say. But yeah, he's always been up there, played for such a long time. And Cookie, who started in season 10, but like every team he's been on has been pretty close to winning, and he's I think he's second in points on my leaderboard, and just hasn't. He's kind of like the new Mary, except he actually won like a lot faster. So suck it, Mary. And then of course Dan, who we haven't seen since like season 12. I'm bringing up the leaderboard, by the way. Someone who we haven't seen since season 12, and that was kind of like an appearance, I guess. Shows up, gets 4 kills, most kills in the UHC, and just absolutely, basically had absolutely no rust at all. So yeah, and on top of people we haven't seen, talking about people we haven't seen in a while, it was good to see Jad Murdoch show up again. Someone we haven't seen since the combat update. Smith J made his debut for this season. Hills made his debut for this season. Mixon made his return this season. So we had a really good turnout. And yeah, this was a lot of fun, this UHC. A lot of build up to this chaotic mess. So yeah, let's talk about let's mention the leaderboard real quick. Killer's in the lead. He took over the lead, 196 points. Cookie is 192 points. He's 4 points back. Aces dropped to 3rd. Nixer's in 4th. Sayolo stays in 5th. Mary jumps up to 6th, basically swapping with Shawson, who's in 7th. Muck stays in 8th. I jump up to 9th. Joda to 10th. Lemons to 11th. Other players who have played this season, Boo is in 13th still. Weather is up to 14th. Canuck climbed 5 spots to 15th. Dan climbed 9 positions to 16th. Fruit is somehow forever stuck in 17th. Zalpha climbed his way up to 18th. Jad Murdoch debuts in 24th. Smith J and Hills are in 29th and 30th, and Abel is in 25th. Dropped a couple spots there. So yeah, let's see. Let's talk about, so my team was a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite teams ever. Yeah, it was just, like, Aces and I, we have the Ace and Aces connection, I guess. If we were a wrestling tag team. Ooh, nice. Oh no, they go away. They decay like leaves. But yeah, we're a lot of fun team. A lot of fun team. That's a phrase, right? A really good team. A lot of fun to play with those guys. Surprisingly, never done a UHC with Muck, despite both of us being around since pretty much the beginning. So it was cool to be on a team with Muck. And of course, Zalpha being the MVP Iron Man of this season. And he really wanted to get into combat near the end of it, but we had to play it cool. We had to play it smart. And he went right after Sayolo on this bridge for a second there. Unfortunately, Asus died in the building here to a skeleton. Or no, he died somewhere around this area, I guess. And Zalpha tried to get to the gold team here and got shot off. But still a good attempt from everybody. But yeah, a lot of fun. Love the team I was on. Yeah, so things that went well for me this season, pretty much everything. I had a huge bounce back from season 15. Made it all the way to the end. Died in combat. Dealt a good amount of damage. Like, I got some shots on a lot of people. No kills, but a lot of damage. Shots on Jad, I don't think I hit Killer. I got close a couple times. And then turn around, shot Dan a couple times, shot Mary a couple times, shot Canuck a couple times. Like, I'm sure if you added all that damage up, it probably could have killed a person, but yeah, got a lot of combat down. Found a lot of gold, and enough diamonds to enchant and everything. So yeah, we did pretty well for ourselves. Things I would like to improve on, mostly taking stupid damage. Yeah, the whole church thing, it was an accident. It was an unfortunate thing, but I didn't really. I don't know if I absolutely had to shoot baby zombies in the church. I don't know if we could have made an escape without doing that, but yeah, it was unfortunate and did not handle that well. Also, during all this combat over here, I took a few points of fall damage here and there. At one point, I took fall damage jumping off of that building, I believe. Like, we watered down off of this building, and then watered down off of this building, and I just kind of jumped off and took damage. I didn't jump off the roof, but off of the water stream, which is kind of dumb. Apparently this is actually filled with water. Like, completely... Oh, no, it's not. Not completely. Oh, that's cool. It's a feature. But yeah, it looked like that, kind of. And then, yeah, I took damage jumping off of the little base here to go after Killer. So yeah, some unnecessary damage. There were a couple points where I kind of hung back, like when Killer went after Jad, or Asus went after Jad, and Killer chased after them. I could have followed along to kind of even things up, maybe. I could have at least gone to, like, this point, maybe. Or, you know, chase Killer down or something. Like, I don't know if I would have gotten a kill during that, but it might have saved Asus a little bit of damage or something. And then, of course, over here, you know, not eating the apple in time, I could have survived the fall, at least. I could have been Asus in this point, survived the fall and died of mobs. Yeah, I guess I saved Asus by dying and giving him my golden apple, so I guess it all works out in that regard. But yeah, overall, I actually enjoyed it. So for the gimmicks themselves, first of all, the city, for something that I wasn't too keen on going into it, a lot of fun. Even though we were kind of the only ones that made a lot of use of the city, we were, you know, we made a base and everything, but other people passed through the city, took some stuff from the chest, and it was more of a backdrop to a lot of combat during the melee, at least. But the final battle took place in the city itself, so that was cool. But most of the combat happened, like, here, so. And then separated teams. That one is probably something that didn't work out the way I intended it to. On the one hand, for, like, red team and yellow team, that basically happened the way I expected things to go, where people stay separated for the caving phase, and then after that we all meet up together. However, for the pregame, we did a pregame huddle where we talked about strategies and stuff, and a lot of strategies. Granted, you know, it was a smart idea, and not exactly against the rules at all. We kind of the code words, the code that we had, probably was something that we probably shouldn't have done. With the equal server separated teams thing, we didn't talk to each other at all like that. We just met up at the meeting point, which was basically spawn. But at this point, we did strategizing, code words, and all that, and it made for some interesting dynamics. And seeing some people, go straight to each other right away, and other people taking the longer game, trying that out. So it was neat to see different strategies in that aspect. But I don't think it was overall a terribly popular idea, I guess. Um, yeah, we probably could have done without it, maybe, but it was an interesting thing to try. And the good thing about the huddle, I guess, and being allowed to meet up whenever, it prevents another pseudo free for all UHC, which is something that we're probably only going to do a couple times ever. But um, yeah, it made for some interesting content, I think. So I think that's everything I want to mention. I think I mentioned all the details. I had stuff on my phone talking about it, but I think I listed everything. My phone's on the other side of the room, so I'm too lazy to get it. But yeah, so I would put this ranking for this UHC definitely in the top 3 with 5 and 12. It was very much like Season 5 with one person dying early and a big, melee near the end. A little bit of downtime between the melee and the final combat. The only big difference was that, and the 1 versus full team, or nearly full team in Season 5. The only difference was that the final battle was more drawn out in this regard, but definitely put in the top 3. It would be easy to say number 1 because it's so fresh in my mind, but I don't know, Season 12 was crazy. So it might be, I don't know, that's tough to say. It's definitely a top 3 season, I think. But where it fits in the top 3 is kind of tough to say right now. As for next season, it is going to take place in May or June or April. It could be late April to early June, really. Most likely in May. Don't have any gimmick ideas yet. I'm always going to push for a normal, standard UHC just to separate some of the gimmicks. But we're kind of talking about like having a couple huge teams. I think people really want to do that, so we might do that next. 2 huge teams or something like that. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. I hope you enjoyed this UHC. Expect UHC battles to come out pretty soon, and I shall see you all next time.